Just getting some grass for the rabbits, which is what this video is going to be about. And in doing so, getting a little bit of a form of cross-crawl exercises in for the brain. So we're gonna take this bag of rabbit food and go to the rabbits. Higgins on a stay in the shade. Higgins, up, free. You coming? Let's go, buddy. Good boy. Come on. So while we walk, there's not gonna be much to see, but I thought I'd start filming here because then I can talk to you on the walk back to the Rabbitry of sorts. It's a rough cut version right now, but it's a work in progress, and we're cobbling together what we can, make it work. But I want to talk about I think I just got stung on my toe. I'll put some plantain on that. But yeah, one of the things about going barefoot, sometimes you get stung. Make sure there's not a stinger in there. Nope. No, actually, there's something there. Nope, not a stinger. Alright, we're good. So, with the rabbits, we had gotten into them a little bit fast. I would say a little, well, not necessarily fast, but a little over my head. There we go. Oh, we have some wind. We were planning on getting just a breeding trio, a buck and 2 does, and we ended up, horses are out on pasture right now, that's why their gate's open. We ended up getting those, and then I ended up finding some free rabbits on Craigslist, and then some rabbits for a good price on there as well. There's some baby ducks here with a mama hen. I don't know if you can see through the, oh, it's not going to focus through the top netting, and they're walking away. Let's see. Don't know if you can see them. I think they went out of sight a little bit for the camera now. There's Rosie, the mama, who hatched out the eggs for the duck that got killed by the fox. So these are some of the eggs, but they have a hen for a mama, which was a little confusing for everyone the first day, I think. Rosie, the mama, was wondering why her chicks were liking to be in the water trough so much, and the chicks weren't really listening to her, but they seem to have sorted it out now and be okay. And you guys get your water muddy daily now. Do you like to play in it? You gonna hop in there? Oh. Little cuties. Rosie seems to have accepted that these are strange chicks that like to be in the water. Doesn't get worried about it now. Anyhow, so we got the different, come on, Higgins. Got the different rabbits from different sources kind of all at the same time, and it turned out not to be a good idea because there ended up being one batch of them that had some sort of sickness that I couldn't figure out for a while, and we were losing young ones, and the ones that seemed to be sick were all the sick ones. Hi, Shasta. And then there didn't seem to be any new ones getting sick, but there seemed to be, oh, there's a baby dog dish. there seemed to be some that kept on dying from stuff. Hi, boys. And ended up figuring out that I think it was, I'm probably not going to say this right, but I think it was mucoid enteritis. From what I could understand, it was just the young ones affected, and it was only the ones from this one source that they were pretty wily. I don't think they had been handled, and so I think that the stress, this is hard to do one-handed, without dropping all the grass. I think the stress of moving and being handled and probably a diet change all on the same day was a bit too much. We lost a lot of them before we were done with all that. So there's feeder over here too. Made little hay feeders on the side, just agreeing some old chicken wire to there. These are all just made pens out of some stuff we had around, old pens, different stuff we had around to make this rough version of a rabbitry. But so I'm working on a lid for one of them, so I got all the scrap here. Hi, Big Mama. She's gonna have kits. We bred her. She's gonna have kits next week. On the 6th of August, she's due to kindle. I know you guys can't see much right now, but I'm trying to feed. They're a little hungry, so I'm gonna feed first, and then I'll kind of introduce you to everyone. Or kind of as I go too. Watch out, Vixie. Oh, I don't need to open this. Why am I opening it? Because you're cute, that's why. There we go. Now they can see you better. That's Vixie. You stay in there. But, yeah, so I don't remember what I was saying, but we had some that were sick, and we got that finally figured out, and so now these are everybody that's left. And we are going to work on raising, these are all just mixed breed meat rabbits. We're raising them for dog food, for Higgins mainly. We're raising them for dog food. We don't eat them, as I said in the last video that I had done. We don't eat rabbit because it says not to in the Bible. They're not a food animal, so we don't eat them, but we are going to work on raising them for dog food. So in this pen are 2 does. I guess I can introduce you while I go along. The light colored one is Vixie. I thought she looked like an Arctic fox coat, so Vixen, female fox, or shortened to Vixie. The other one's name is Willow. Most of these were named by the kids, but those ones were not. These are just 2 grow-out bucks that are left from the big batch we got. These ones are actually from the batch that were sick, but these 2 have made it, although the dark colored one there is really skinny still, so I'm hoping that he can recover. This is a doe that we got, and I just called her Big Mama because she was the only big mama rabbit in the batch that we got. And we rebred her to our Peter, which you'll see in a little bit. These are 2 little does that are left from that batch that had been come in sick. And these 2 seem to be good. And the kids have named, here, I'll try to get a better view of them. The black and white one. You guys are hungry. Okay, hang on. I don't know what the camera's showing, but important to get rabbit food in there. There we go. So the black and white one is Flopsy, and I've just been calling the dark one Dusty. She looks like she was black and then got some dust on her. So I'm not worried too much about names. They're just to keep track of who's who. But I'm going to be raising these. I wasn't sure that I was going to do no pellet at first, but when they got the mucoid enteritis, or presumably that, the number one thing I could find online information-wise was to take away the pellets and feed just hay and plantain leaves, which I did, which seemed to be helpful for some that weren't too sick yet. So let me get around here. So that led me to looking at, hang on girls, hang on. Looking at really more about feeding more naturally and not feeding the pellet. The more I looked into it, the pellet was making me think about kibble with dogs, and the more I looked in, the more I thought about that, I've done a lot of research with dog food, and I just didn't like what I was finding, so I went to feeding them natural. Each pen has a mineral salt for now because I wasn't able to find a lot of information if they need mineral and salt, and I assumed that they probably did need some sort of mineral and salt since they're not on the ground. So I just got the spools for now until I find out what is best. If anyone knows information on that, if you would comment on that, that'd be helpful. And I assumed that that's needed since I'm not feeding pellet, basically. They have licked on them a little bit, so they seem to use them. These are 3 Californian. These are the only purebreds that we have. These are 3 does that we got given to us. These 3 does and a buck. We did process the buck. Higgins has already eaten him. But these 3 does were all, I think also the buck, we're not really sure, we're all in a little pen together, so they seem to be really bonded. Even giving them a larger pen here, they typically will huddle together and literally lay on top of each other all the time. They don't like to be separate from each other, so I'm planning on keeping them together as long as they want to be. So that's the 3 girls there. They don't really have official names. I just use the markings on their rump. Like you can see, that one there has a line. She has a stripe on either side, so I call her Stripes. One of them has more of a patch and a rump on one side, and so she's Patch. And then one of them just has a mark that's Patch there, and the other one just has a mark on the one side, but not the other. And so I just call her Whitey. The kids have yet to give them regular names yet, but so that's the 3 Californian girls, and we did recently breed them to our 2 bucks, which I'll show you in a minute. So these pens, we got some old mink and fox grow up pens from actually the guy that we also get dog food from, who is a trapper local in the area, and we got these for like $5 a cage, and then I just took them apart and put them together to make them bigger, and to use the doors that were already on there in some cases, like this. Added hay feeders on where there was, and greens feeders on where there was I don't know if you can see it, there was already a hole here, so I just used that hole as a feeder. There's a same thing on the other side there for the hay feeder. This is makeshift shelter over here. I haven't built their shelter yet. And then this setup over here is the exact same. Let me finish giving these guys some grass. But yeah, these ones are just still transitioning off of pellet. It's another thing that the sick rabbits taught me is, and what I looked up is they cannot move food quickly sometimes, especially I guess on young rabbits. It can get them sick. So I have been slowly transitioning these 3 girls because they were on pellet. I've been slowly transitioning them to the greens, but they do get this full of pellets once a day, which is about a cup and almost 2 cups, basically, like a cup and 3/4. Every morning only, just because I'm weaning them off of them. So in here, we have the 2 does from the original trio that we were getting. This one here in the front, the kids named her Mopsy. You can tell a theme here. And then this one, since she looks like a cottontail rabbit, she is named Cottontail. So those are those 2 girls. I believe those ones are, I believe they were New Zealand and Rex crosses, I think, if I remember correctly. I wasn't concerned about the breeds because we're just doing it for dog food, so I don't really care about the bone to meat ratio. Doesn't really matter to me for the dog food. So I didn't really care about that it was mixed breeds. It was fine. These are the bucks. They are in temporary cages right now, and will be getting their cages yet. I have not built them their cages quite yet. Still working on that. So these are their temporary cages. Before I move to them, though, this is what I'm planning on doing. It's really rough, cobbled together, but if it works and it looks weird, then it still works. So just using scrap of everything, what we have around, left a little opening for ventilation here. Ventilation is very important in rabbits, from what I hear. So I left a little bit of space there for airflow. But I closed off this corner so that they can have a coop, essentially, a coop area, without actually putting a coop in there and using up space. And also one more thing to clean. They have just one resting board right now, but most of these cages, if there's, I've tried to put a board for each rabbit. I just ran out of ready scrap boards. These guys have 2 different boards, one they're sitting on over there, and then this one. Like I said, these guys lay on top of each other anyways. This we cleared out to plant a rabbit food plot here, right next to them. We planted some comfrey here the other day, and a little plantain down there too. There's already some volunteer dandelions growing. You can get all kinds of stuff going there. Yes, Peter, I'm coming. This is Peter. He is he's obviously a lop cross, but I'm trying to remember what he was crossed with. It was either a Rex or a New Zealand, and I can't remember. But he is the buck of the original trio that we got for breeding. Hi, buddy. I know you want your grass. Okay. I rotate what I give them. I feed them greens morning and evening, and hay all the time. I just cleaned out their hay to give them new stuff, though, so that's why they don't have hay in here. Not all of them have hay right now because I just cleaned it out. Gotta go get that yet from our horse barn. But, hey, buddy. He's a nice bunny. But, I give them a different type of greens every time I feed them. Sometimes it'll be grass, sometimes plantain, sometimes a mixture of different stuff. Sometimes having some clover in there, some alfalfa, some different weeds, some mint, comfrey, whatever we happen to have around that day. They also seem to like bindweed fine. We have a never-ending supply of that, so I just try to rotate what I'm feeding them so that they get a nice variety and it spans all their needs. Now this guy has a lot of sticks in here because he loves to chew on sticks, I've noticed. This is a buck. This one came with the batch that that doe, the big mama, was in. This is a little buck. Both of these still have to grow out yet. They're still young. Most of the rabbits we got were still young, except for the 3 Californians and the big mama one. This one the kids named Bigwig from the Watership Down books. So